Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson, this is Full Time Devils, and this is the Arsenal preview. Today we are joined by the Cheeky Sport Boys. We've got Dave representing United, and we've got Joel representing Arsenal, and in between them, we've got Statman Dave giving us the lowdown on all that is statual in the world. The first thing we want to talk about today then is we want to talk about Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger. I'm going to come to Joel first on this as the outsider, as the Arsenal guest, and I'm going to say, Jose Mourinho's had a very good record against Arsene Wenger. How do you see this one playing out this weekend?
Well, to be honest with you, I reckon this one's going to be an exception. Why do I reckon it's going to be an exception? Because I reckon in every single occasion that Wenger has played Jose Mourinho has been on top of his game. He's been the manager to beat since his days at Porto. Since he moved over to Chelsea, he was the main man. Just like how Wenger re-innovated football back when he came in, I think Jose Mourinho has been the next person to do it since Wenger, and then of course before that since Sir Alex. So I reckon right now Jose's going through like a dip of, I would say, form. It's not that he's not a good manager anymore, but I reckon if you're good enough to be known as a legend, you're always going to go through ups and downs in your career. And I reckon at the current moment, because of I would say probably the balance of the squad that Jose has, it's not his preferred team. It's not the team that he would want. So I reckon psychologically, and obviously when you see the team, it puts Arsene Wenger at an advantage so far.
Cheeky Dave, thinking about Arsenal, thinking about what they're doing, the transitional period that United are going through, is this the sort of game where Arsenal, if they are going to be credible in the title race, this is the sort of game where they have to step up? Because they've got no excuses. Every other team in the league has gone through this transition. They're the most stable club at the moment. Is there no excuses for Arsene Wenger to not succeed this year?
To be honest, there's been no excuse for Arsene Wenger not to succeed the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, to be honest with you. So at the end of the day, it's just another season to me. I see it practically pretty much the exact same. There isn't a great deal of change to their side. I think they probably had a better chance of beating us last year when we was in this position last year at Old Trafford. Probably even more so under Moyes, which they weren't able to do.
Statman Dave, is this the sort of game where the managers are going to have a massive part to play in the eventual result?
Absolutely. Mourinho versus Wenger is one of those great rivalries in English football. You look at the games that they played against each other, Mourinho really has the beating of Arsene Wenger. 13 games played. Mourinho's won 7 of those games. Wenger's failed to win any of them, and then there's been 6 draws. But how you sort of approach that game as Mourinho, it's taking the pressure off the players and putting the pressure on himself, and it being a tactical battle between Mourinho and Wenger, a classic attack versus defence, and I can't wait for this game.
Dave, I'm going to stay with you, Statman Dave, and I'm going to say, what is your starting 11 then to get the victory this weekend?
So I think the performance against Swansea was a lot better. I really liked how Mourinho used the system against Swansea to overload them centrally, using Wayne Rooney and Juan Mata. But going to go against that for this game. I'm going to stick with David De Gea in goal. The back four is going to stay the same. I think Young at right back is probably the best option with Valencia out injured in terms of how we can get forward and cross the ball and have an outlet on that right-hand side. Into central defence, I think you've got to be Jones and Rojo. There's just nothing else right now. United really need to address that in January. Darmian at left back as well. I was quite impressed against Swansea. He looks so much more comfortable on the left-hand side. It's like he can drift inside and he can kind of do his thing and he doesn't have to cross the ball, which he's not very talented at. Into holding midfield, it's got to be Michael Carrick. When Carrick started for Man United this season, there have been 5 games. United have gone on to win 5 of those games and they've scored 15 goals in the process. That's 3 goals per game. So I think Michael Carrick is so crucial. He gives something that's sort of intangible for United. It's that calming factor. And you put him in front of Jones and Rojo, and they look like world beaters, so he's got to be in there. Then into midfield, I'm going to go with Juan Mata on the right, Ander Herrera next to Paul Pogba, and then Martial on that left-hand side. I want Martial to play a sort of counter-attacking role, looking to attack the space in behind Bellerin, and of course, with Zlatan Ibrahimovic injured, Marcus Rashford up top.
Cool. Cheeky Dave, what's your starting 11, mate?
To be honest with you, my starting 11 was pretty much bang on with Statman Dave. To be honest with you, but I might actually put in Daley Blind at left back, just for his positional play, his ability to read the game a lot better than Darmian can. I know he's not a fantastic outlet in terms of pace, but he has the ability to read the game, and it gives us extra cover there. Not leaving Carrick out there on his own with that dodgy centre back pairing that we've got there. But I think you're pretty much spot on there.
All right, cool. Right, let's have a look at the FanDuel 11 for this weekend. FanDuel is our weekly fantasy football game where you can win some money for just playing along. We've got a special offer for you this week. Let's get into our starting 11 before we get into all of that. We've gone for 2 Manchester United players in the team. We've gone for Marcus Rashford against the team that he made his Premier League debut, hoping he can get another couple of goals and lightning can strike twice. We think David De Gea's got a good chance of keeping a clean sheet in this one as well, so that's why he's in the team. We've got Curtis Davis, as he's a FanDuel regular every single week, absolutely smashing it with the points. We've also gone for Rose and Alonso because they're likely to get us very good points as well. Up front, we've got Lukaku because we think he's got goals all over him. And we've got Charlie Austin as Southampton face off against Liverpool, so we're all going to be supporting Charlie Austin, hoping he can do the business for us against them. FanDuel have got a special offer for you this week. It's transfer war chest time. Time for us to get really stuck into playing the game. So if you deposit £10, then you will get £20 of credit spread over the next 4 weeks to give you a chance to really get your teeth into the game. And if you want to play, make sure you deposit £10, and when you sign up, use the code word Devils War Chest to make sure you get the free credit. As usual, we are in the £6,000 fan favourite league. Entries close at 12:30 on Saturday, and you've got to be over 18 and in the UK to play. Okay, then we're going to come to Cheeky Sport Joel for this one. Paul Pogba has had a lot of criticism from everywhere this season. Is this the sort of game where you expect Paul Pogba to step up? Is this the sort of game where Paul Pogba can run riot against Arsenal's seemingly lightweight midfield? And is this the sort of game where you expect Paul Pogba to really turn up for Manchester United? And are you scared?
Well, first of all, our midfield has been better than yours. So even if you called it lightweight, that's the reality it has. Even the likes of Theo Walcott performed somehow, I have to say somehow. But secondly, yeah, I reckon he's still got it. I reckon right now he needs to find his groove still. It still takes a bit of time. And if you see him how he plays for France, he's clearly a player. You know, he's clearly, when he's given the space he needs and he plays in the formation that suits him, he can cause damage. And he's shown that in all of the international friendlies that he's in, international fixtures. And also, I think when you've got a manager like Jose Mourinho, he's always going to do us against the world. So he's very capable of drawing in players like Pogba and saying, look, man, you know, they reckon you're not worth this, but it's us against the world. Man United showed him. And if he can, look, he did it for, Jose did this for Frank Lampard, did this for the John Terrys. I reckon once he can convince players like Pogba that this is the case for him, and this game could be the perfect case, you could see him play better than he's ever played, to be honest with you. So, and I'm realistic in that fact to say that. I'm not going to just sit here and argue the case and say, oh, no, what are you talking about? The truth is, sometimes that's where the best performances come. You know?
Cheeky Dave, what do you reckon, mate? Is this the game for Pogba to shine, to really step up and absolutely tater Arsenal the way Rashford did last year?
I think a lot of people have been giving Pogba a great deal of stick that he doesn't deserve, to be honest. I think he hasn't had absolutely incredibly, shockingly bad performances. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Pogba that's going to light up this game. I think the light of this game is going to be Marcus Rashford. I think he understands the weight of this fixture. He's a United fan as a kid, so he knew what it was like during the time when there was a rivalry between these two sides, and he's done it before. He's had the experience at the big games, doing it on the big stage, and I think him up top is going to be very, very, very dangerous for Arsenal, especially the pace that he has up front. It's going to be electric.
Statman Dave, is it media perception or is the actual reality that Paul Pogba's not been as bad as everyone's been making out?
I think that's it. I think it's one of those things where he hasn't been scoring goals and getting assists at such regularity. So people who know, Messi scored this week, Pogba hasn't, not worth the money. But I think with Paul Pogba, he's coming into that role of sort of being the midfield playmaker. And, you know, you look at the game against Swansea, he completed more passes than any other player on the pitch. United dominated that game. And that goal he scored, you know, if that was scored by potentially somebody else that the media sort of likes, they're going to be singing about that for the next few weeks. What a goal that was. You know, a half volley outside the area, absolutely top bins, perfect. So for me, Pogba has been playing very, very well. And it's just going under, the media's just forget, you know, it's going underneath them. And again, against Arsenal, this is a big game for him to step up because he hasn't looked good against, you know, he was poor against City, he was poor against Chelsea. So is his time to step up in this bigger game and sort of take their media and tell them to shut up? Simple as that, right?
Right, let's talk about the opposition. Joel, I'm going to come to you. Why do we need to be worried about Arsenal this week? What are you going to bring to us? It looks like Sanchez is probably going to play. He played this week for Chile against Arsene Wenger's wishes, but it looks like he's probably going to be fit to play against Manchester United at the weekend. Is he the one that we need to look out for?
I mean, I think the differences this year in Arsenal. There's a few players you have to look out for. I mean, if you start at the back, the signing of Mustafi to partner Kashani has made a huge difference. Seasons before, you're looking at Pierre Mertesacker, and you just know that's an easy day for the defenders. Even a young Marcus Rashford, you know what I mean? They'll eat that up all day long. But right about now, you're looking at a rock at the back, which Arsenal haven't had in a long time. And it starts from the back. At the same time, of course, through the midfield, you've actually got midfielders besides Cazorla who are actually playing really well at the moment. You look at Theo Walcott, he's had an exceptional start. You've got the young bright Iwobi, who he's getting better every game as the games go on. You've got Xhaka, who's a solid signing to part of Coquelin there in the defensive midfield role. And then you've got Ozil, who he seems to be probably having his best season in an Arsenal shirt. And on top of that, Sanchez up top, who is on fire at the moment. So there's plenty of reasons for now that we're playing as a team. We're playing as a team, and we can look to not just our key men like Sanchez. Goals can actually come from everywhere, which I think is, really been a huge issue in the past. I mean, if you look at the bench, yeah, he's not my personal favourite, but Giroud can still come on and do a job. So I reckon that's the difference. Before now, we've actually got a team. We're not just looking at Fabregas is there and he's the key man, or Adebayor, he's the only. It's not like that anymore. I truly believe that Wenger's 2 solid players away in January from potentially winning the league, but that's totally up to him.
Sounds like there's no excuses come Saturday afternoon, then, mate.
No, there isn't.
Statman Dave, tell him why he's wrong, or tell him if he's right.
No, I think there's some really good points there. I think the big thing with Arsenal this season is they've been using Sanchez as sort of a false 9 where he's vacating that space, and it's allowed the likes of Iwobi and Walcott to drift centrally and really cause opposition defences a lot of problems. But Sanchez, whether he plays or not, you don't know. Wenger's saying he's injured, Chile is saying he's fit. So that potentially is going to be a big one there. Santi Cazorla, I thought would be a big miss for Arsenal, but now they've got Xhaka, Coquelin can come in, simple as anything. But I think Bellerin could be a big miss for Arsenal, out injured. Jenkinson's going to have to come in, and that's where United need to attack Arsenal, is on that right-hand side. So down United's left with Anthony Martial and then Rashford drifting into that zone. Sort of test out Mustafi and test out Jenkinson in a defensive position, and that's what United need to do, down that left-hand side consistently. Then they can go on to win the game. But Arsenal, yeah, without Sanchez, they're a different proposition. Olivier Giroud does a job, but he's a different player. He's a target man. He's going to want the ball to come to him and then play people off him, not Sanchez going to the ball and trying to dictate. So it's going to be a really interesting game tactically.
Cheeky Dave, what do we have to watch out for against Arsenal?
To be honest with you, I think they are very penetrative in attack, and I think it's been able to withstand the attack and breaking them on the counter. So we're going to need pace. We're definitely going to need pace. And I think it was a really good shot having Ashley Young there at right back, somebody who can just get the ball out quickly, swing a ball in from the wide positions. I think that would be crucial in us beating them, because they are very pacey at attack, and they don't waste chances this year. This year Arsenal are not the same as they were last year or a couple of years ago, where chance after chance after chance. Now they're becoming very, very clinical in front of goal, and I think that is what we have to. De Gea has to be on his job. That's what, for me, I think De Gea is going to have to be on his job. But I still believe it's possible. I think there's a mental block when it comes to Manchester United with Arsenal. I think there's a mental block when it comes to Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger, and I can't see anything else but United win, to be honest.
All right, Dave. So what's your score?
My score, I'm going for a 2-1 or a 3-2. I'm not going too excited. Usually people are like, we usually shout out a lot of goals, and I think it was 3-2 last time at Old Trafford. But I can see one goal being in it, and I think both teams will score. So I'm going 3-1 3-2 or 2-1.
Statman Dave, what's your score?
I'm going to go 1-0. Mourinho's going to nick it. Classic counter-attack. It's going to be the greatest defensive display from Marcus Rojo that we've ever seen.
Oh my God, Joel, what's your score, mate?
Don't laugh. But I reckon it's going to be a 2-2 draw, to be honest with you. I know you want the Arsenal fan to come, you want the, the Ty Claude kind of guy to say we're going to bash you in and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, mate,
I thought that was the rules. If you was an Arsenal fan, you have to come on and say we're going to win 6-0, we're going to win the league, and then when we don't, it's Wenger out. I'm sure isn't that the rules? I thought there was a rule book for that.
Don't get me wrong, it is a part of the rule book, but at the current moment, to be honest with you, I do reckon it will be 2-2 because I just reckon a lot of these big games that have been hyped up this year, man, they just leave with draws, man.
I feel the same. I think it's going to be 1-1. I think it's probably going to be a really tight game. It's going to be a draw, and I'll take that, I think, actually. Right, thank you for these guys for joining us. Thank you to Joel and Dave from Cheeky Sport. Make sure you go and give them a follow and a subscribe because they are awesome content. And if you like mediocre content, then Statman Dave is your man. I'm only kidding. His stats are awesome. Go and make sure you give Dave a subscribe as well as the Cheeky Sport boys. This has been the Arsenal preview. Get your score predictions and team predictions in below, and we will see you later. Goodbye.